Hello, I'm Dean Martin with Transmission Digest. Welcome to the TranStar Industry Studios here at Babcock's Media.
Vehicles, especially with internal combustion engines, have always required a means to dampen torsional vibration. And that's the subject of today, which are engine and transmission mounts. There have been several types of mounts produced over the years, and we're going to address each one. Initially, a mount was a simple thing, merely a piece of steel that would bolt to the engine or transmission, another piece of steel that would bolt to a frame member, and a chunk of rubber in between. Early on, the rubber was fairly hard, high durometer, and the only thing that really happened, they would sag, causing alignment issues, or they could break and allow the engine to move under acceleration. As time went on, in the late 70s, early 80s, with the launch of transverse mounted smaller vehicles, they required a softer transmission and engine mount. They even had things like a dog bone, which is an insulator to keep the engine from shifting too much side to side. The aftermarket, of course, would produce mounts, and instead of producing a soft rubber, they would produce a hard rubber for a particular application, and that would end up with a problem getting droning sounds inside the vehicle, which was not good. So when you have a soft rubber mount, you need to replace with a soft rubber mount. As time went on, the OEs needed to dampen the vibrations even more, and they came out with a hydraulic mount. And if you could imagine, a mount that would look something like this would have two chambers inside, and these chambers would have oil that would flow from one side to the other through an orifice, and that hydraulic movement would provide a better dampening than just a solid rubber mount. But yet these were a fixed dampening capability. The OEMs wanted a little bit more control, and so they came out with a variable type of hydraulic mount, which is a vacuum mount. And if you could imagine, a mount like this would have a vacuum nipple, and that vacuum nipple would have a vacuum line that would go up to a computer-controlled switch, and the computer would actually allow the switch to open and provide a certain amount of vacuum to the mount. So you would have two chambers for the hydraulic fluid to flow, but you would also have a separate member for this vacuum diaphragm to work to better control the dampening effect of a fixed hydraulic. Again, these newer mounts are much more expensive. The other thing is they can be tested. You can take a vacuum pump, disconnect the line at the switch, take a vacuum pump it up, make sure it holds vacuum so that you know that the line and the mount itself is good. You can actually do a test to see the capability of the mount. You take a glass of water, put it on the radiator support, start the engine, and you'll see the ripple effect of the water. You can pump vacuum into the mount and raise and lower the vacuum and see the difference in the ripple effect. Lastly, to really have good control with the age of electronics, the OEMs came out with what they call an MR mount, which is magnetorheological fluid. And we call it an ER fluid, electrorheological fluid. And instead of having rubber or just a typical hydraulic oil, this ER fluid would actually solidify or align with an electrical charge. So the computer could actually send an electrical charge to the mount. You would, based on the requirement, start to solidify this to make it harder or softer, dampening. If you had a mount like this with a wire sticking out of it, that's going to be an MR type mount. They usually put those in higher end vehicles like Porsche or high end Audis. So there are several levels of mounts to contend with. The prices go up accordingly. As far as problems with any mount, of course you can have vibration problems. You can have harsh engagement problems. But you can also have problems that are blamed on other components such as torque converter shutter. Dodge had an issue with some police cars. There was actually a picture of the mount that we're showing during this presentation, and that mount problem would create a shutter, and it would seem like it's converter shutter, but it wasn't. It had nothing to do with the converter shutter. It was the mount itself. There were even issues with replacing mounts and not using the right hold down bolts, like a 2015 ProMaster, that the bolts would actually come loose because they are special bolts and you can't reuse them. So anytime you're replacing a mount, make sure of the type you're using, look for any TSBs, and follow the procedures so that you avoid problems later. I'm Mike Riley. Thanks for watching. See you next time.